Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Mike Haspel, and we have a special guest tonight on all things demonic, the real Horton Dalton.
Yo, I'm so happy to have my boy Horton up in here, one of my best 40k friends and the greatest Khorne Demonkin player of all time.
He is pretty much the greatest Khorne Demonkin player in the history of ever, I feel like.
but we also have Mike Haspel, who is the greatest 40k player of all time.
Yeah, in some parallel quantum universe, that is the truth.
It's funny. Mike's playing prowess waxes and wanes with the strength of the Space Wolves and or the Grey Knight books.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Surprisingly enough,
turns out his tournament success is directly tied to how good those codexes are.
And he's about to be on the rise.
Yeah, I am. Hopefully.
Yep, no doubt. Man. So you got a GT going on out there. I saw some sweet Servo Skull trophies, right?
Oh, that was this last weekend. We had Genghis Khan went on, and the first of the Servo Skulls went out as prize support, so that was pretty cool. Eldar won, no surprise to anybody, but Nids came in second, so that was pretty cool. Oh. And I just want to throw a shout out to some folks at the Flying Monkey GT. Go check it out. That's in April, so it'll be after Adepticon, April 15th through the 17th, and it is going to be in. It's in Kansas. So if you're out here in Colorado, that's literally like a 6-7 hour drive. It's not a big deal. So be sure to just check it out and everything so that we can give these guys some support. They're going to have Warhammer, Hordes, X-Wing, Blood Bowl even, which is kind of cool. They're going to have Beer Hammer, which I'm going to participate in against my better judgment, because when I did Beer Hammer...
But you're literally a superhero when you come down to elevation, though.
Yeah, when you come up to the planes.
I paid for it hard when we did the Beer Hammer like 2 years ago at LVO, because like I drank like a 6-pack in one of the games because they said like if you drank a beer during the game and finished it during the game, you could put it down as a large blast template. And I was playing against Horde Nids. And I literally drank a 6-pack. Second game did not go that well. Go figure. But yeah, they're going to have a night joust. They're having a hobby showcase. All kinds of great stuff. Malifaux out at Wichita, Kansas. So it's called the Flying Monkey GT. If you're in that range, where it's a nice, inexpensive GT, good hotel rooms, everything. You can just drive out there middle of April. Check it out.
I'm excited to hear about that. Speaking of things to check out, we're still running our giveaway to win an Iwata Eclipse airbrush, the greatest airbrush of all time, the official airbrush of Next Level Painting. And I think 3 out of 4 people who are on the show tonight use this airbrush.
Yeah, that is correct.
And I think that's just because Horton doesn't airbrush.
Yeah, if he airbrushed, he would use this airbrush too.
It's true.
And so the way to get this airbrush is to just go to the Facebook. The easiest way for you guys listening at home, go to the Facebook page, either The Long War or go over to Next Level Painting. The first post you'll see pinned to the top will have a video explaining the contest. You visit all the links in the description, go up there, sign up on gemmer.com. You are automatically entered to win your ass an airbrush. Don't hesitate to do it. There's still time in this month to win your ass an Iwata Eclipse, and we should be pairing this with a compressor giveaway next month. So you definitely have a good opportunity to win one of these two things. And we're not talking about Powerball odds here. We're talking about like, one in a couple hundred. That's totally doable.
Not one in a couple 100 million. Yeah. Better odds to get struck by lightning.
Yeah, twice. You get struck by lightning twice.
Yeah, the last one I think was struck by lightning while drowning. What are your odds of winning?
Yikes.
Oh, my God.
Well, you can't win if you don't play. And that applies to both of these, I feel like.
True story.
All right. Well, we got a really good show lined up tonight. I mean, 40K is coming out of the woodwork. There's some crazy-ass Horus Heresy stuff popping off, too. And, of course, we all got our favorite takes on the Demon book as well. Well, the Demon / Wulfen book, because Mike's a dirty loyalist player, but we still like him. It's okay. And great webcast recap as well. There was a ton of people in the webcast.
We have broken our record 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it's like we're not even able to get to everything on there, and I don't even think we're going to be able to recap it all. We might refer some folks to going to actually watching the recap to hear what we said or what the questions were there, because we won't even have time to cover all of that tonight either, I feel like.
And don't forget, though, the webcast recap is world famous, hosted by Mike Haspel, but the webcast itself, that is live, 8 p.m.s every Wednesday night. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. But after that, you have to be a veteran of the Long War. You have to get up on the Hall of Veterans on the longwar.net. It's the only way you can see the webcast if you didn't tune in for it live. But don't worry. For $5.99 a month, you get a whole lot more than that webcast. I promise. I'm not even going to tell you about those things. I trust at this point that you know how valuable that $5.99 is. Especially when I went to the gaming store yesterday. No fucking lie. Because I'm in a pinch because I'm finishing up this Emperor's Children Commission. I needed some more like Juchi Violet shade from GW. Yo, $6.
Whoa.
Yo, $6.
Yeah, because that comes in the double bottle now, right? The tall bottle.
Oh, it is, yeah.
$6, my man. I was like, oh my God, that's literally a subscription to the longwar.net. All I'm saying. Anyway, Rob, please.
No, I feel you there. Yeah, it's like I think I did a math on it. It's like 20 cents a day. Like enrich your hobby, 20 cents a day. The Long War.
The Long War. Commercial.
Moving on. So there's a lot of stuff coming out, and I wanted to definitely talk about in the Tabletop Market Watch about these new Tau and Orc products, because I'm totally feeling a lot going on there, but I got some negative, what is it? A positive, negative, positive sandwich to lay out. I feel like, because I like the direction they're going, but I don't like maybe the path they're going to get there, so to speak. You know what I mean?
So are they like paving the path to victory in the corpses of their fallen friends, but you want that cake at the end of that trail, but you're not like super into walking over your friends' dead bodies, but you will to eat that cake.
Yeah, it's kind of like that test. It was like, how many 6-year-olds can you beat? Like, and then you answered a short questionnaire like, would you have a problem using a 6-year-old as a weapon against another 6-year-old? Yes or no?
Literally, I can literally kill 1,000 6-year-olds.
What is your arm length? You know, like such questions as that, and then it tells you like how many 6-year-olds you can defeat in Mortal Kombat, basically. So yes, it's kind of like that. So we got the webcast recap. We've got a great Tabletop Market Watch, and I think we're gonna fill in. I think we're gonna go over on time regardless. But let's jump right into it. And I'm sure Haspel has a few things on the avant-garde kind of independent indie game scene as well. Some interesting Kickstarters out there. First of all, we've got our friends over at Brush for Hire. I think they've
rebranded their Death Ray.
Death Ray Studios?
Death Ray Studios or Death Ray Productions. I don't want to get it wrong, but regardless, we've been posting the links, sharing their links. They have some amazing terrain. They've got a acrylic production. What are they up to right now, Rob? Do you know?
I do not know currently, no.
I know. I saw that in the first 3 or 4 days, they'd already gotten over like $3,000 of their 20 Gs. So they're on there. So like if they can maintain that pace, they can get there. So definitely let's come together as a community and support these guys. They're actually putting out a really good product. These guys are also going to be partnering with us here soon for a segment called that we tentatively named the Army Exchange Program, where we're going to be exchanging armies with people and playing their unique takes on lists in our Beats Laboratory. So you can see these guys on our channel here really soon, as soon as they're done with their Kickstarter, because Kickstarter takes a lot of work.
Turns out you were not lying. So definitely check that Kickstarter out. It's really good looking stuff. And we'd love to see this one do really well for them. On the G-Dub side, stuff I was kind of alluding to, the new Tau and Orc products. So there's a slew of stuff coming out. We got the reprint of the Far Side. Well, it's not really a reprint. So you got the Far Side book coming out. You got a new box set coming out. It's like the Command Cadre or something that's coming out with a Crisis leader, the Crisis Command suit, and the Enforcer armor. And then you get the Ethereal. And at $60, it's a pretty good deal because the Crisis suit alone is $50. So kind of like, a positive sandwich there of value where they're basically valuing the ethereal at $10. But then again, that ethereal is something they've offered 3 times now in a non-clan pack form. You know what I mean? So
classic GW.
Yep, classic G-Dub. So at some point, I'm sure we'll get it as a clan pack, but they're going to milk it for all it's worth, I feel like. The new Farsight book, it's the old Farsight fluff, plus some of the rules and the formations from Monka and Kalyan, but there's no new content in there, according to the description on GW's site. So it's like another way to sell us something that we've already been offered or perhaps bought in the past. It is a more convenient, more digestible format, thank God it's a 40k release, because a lot of people out there are all up in arms over the whole Age of Sigmar thing. But at the end of the day, they can only do that so many times, I feel like,
No, I don't. I feel like they don't have that opinion. I feel like they're going to do this forever. I don't feel like
is your chip going to keep going off, or you going to keep buying this stuff?
Dude, I got to tell you, the chip thing, the struggle is real. I'm like, that I literally will say the day it comes out, that's outrageous. I'm not paying for that. And then the next day I'll be like, well, that's a bargain. I'll take 3. So I don't know, man.
Well, they do like to continually sell us old products again. So I don't think that's going to change.
Yo, it's just good business. How many times how many times in 5 years have you run the same article, Rob?
I don't want to talk about it. I would never do that.
If you have a really good article about painting something, you're not going to just run it once, because there's new people getting into the hobby every day.
Well, I mean, that's okay. So first of all, that's an industry standard. Like, I don't rerun the same article, but I will link back to it from time to time through social media. I generally don't repost the same thing on the site. That's generally a no-no.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was really just talking about GW. Just translating.
Oh, well, yeah.
I was translating that that intangible to a tangible. Like, you know what I mean? If you put out something amazing, but obviously all the promotion only happens during the release, and then it's all trickling after that. But people get into the hobby every day, so every now and then you have to just kind of like re-release it.
I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that do that sort of thing. Like, for instance, the thing that comes to the top of my head is Transformers back in the day, or even G.I. Joe. Like, G.I. Joe had all these great vehicles and everything in the early 80s. By the late 80s, they were struggling to come up with new ideas. So they're like, yo, we'll just paint this, this Cobra Rattler a different color. It's going to be yellow tiger stripes, Tiger Force, and all this other stuff. And it was really cool. And I bought it all. And I had all the other stuff too, because, I'm a kid and I wanted it. But, so you see that out there anywhere you go. But, that being said, this was literally the 3rd time they've put this out since November. So I'm like, man, I don't know. Are people going to get, I'm not for or against it. I'm just providing the facts for people to say, oh, I didn't realize that, or, hey, it's totally cool. Or, ultimately it's like you say, Kenny, people are going to vote with the dollars. If people didn't buy this stuff, they wouldn't put it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
true story.
And not to get too off topic, but in their recycling thing too, you see Attack on Blackreach kits resurfacing with that toy line that they're that kind of snuck leaked out, which I think is a fantastic idea. And they actually had like a girl playing 40k on the box, which I think is a great idea. But in case somebody from GW is listening, I want to just relate a really quick anecdote. We had a father came into the store and bought an Age of Sigmar starter box, and I talked to him about paints and everything and talked him through some technique. And then he came back later because he had forgotten to buy primer, and he had his little girl with him, and she was about 8 years old. And as soon as she crossed the threshold, she lost her mind in the store. I was like, oh, this girl's a lost cause. She is a gamer girl through and through. We won her over already. She ran back, kind of blew off the Age of Sigmar stuff, went right to 40k, and was just going crazy over the models, and then kind of stopped and went, where are the girl ones? And I could see all the enthusiasm just kind of bleed out of her face. So it's like, G-Dub, if you're listening, you got to fix that, man. There's no reason. There's no female guardsmen. There's, you can do something. Sisters, hint, something. But I'm digging that they're recycling the Assault on Blackreach kits, or at least I don't know that they are. It looks like they are, because it looked very similar to the makeup, the snap fit models that came in that box set.
Yep, I totally agree. I believe they are the exact same stuff, just reboxed into separate packaging. I'm not sure how they managed that. They might have had to redo the sprues, but I imagine at that point it's only about half the cost. I don't know. I don't have that industrial, expertise there. But
it's $4.62.
Yep. So there you go. You have it. You heard it here first.
Yeah, literally.
So so that's on the Tau side for release wise, and on the Orc side, you got the new Gaskell book coming out, and apparently there's 3 new formations in there. No idea what they are at this point, but it's good to see.
I mean,
and then you've got.
I'm hopeful because we've explained before. Like earlier tonight, we talked with Mike Haspel, and we brought up a couple of good points about all these new formations. He was like, "Hey, this new demon stuff in the Curse of the Wulfen, it's like a new codex." And I got me to thinking, it's like, well, what makes it a new codex? Like, it's literally the same shit. It's the same units. It's the formations of the data slates. Now, GW has proven notoriously that they're inconsistent with how good things are. What makes a rule system fun is the perk system. Like, we can have all the base statistics in the game we want. That's combined arms attachments. That's allies. That's us just playing with strength, wounds, initiative, movement. That's it. But when you introduce these new data slates and these formations, these detachments with these command benefits that literally take a mechanic of the game and rewrite it, that's exciting. And that is what the Curse of the Wulfen did. So I'm hoping that that's what this new stuff does for the Orcs, because the Orcs need it. Because the Orcs have a bunch of good units. It's just that there's no way to play them in a way that makes sense. Because if you just take the parameters, the statistics of the game, a bunch of toughness 4 guys with no armor, that have furious charge, that have no ballistic skill, that do this and this, you can play it in all sorts of interesting ways. But if you gave us just one formation, one detachment, just gave us some bonus, some augmentation, like, it would work. And that's all we need. We just need some exciting perks to augment the parameters of the game. I am very hopeful for this new Orc stuff to come out.
Well, Kenny, you just pointed out my favorite thing about the detachment system is it lets you do what you just said, almost like release a patch for an army with a detachment rule. So I'm also very excited about what they do with the Orcs, and let's hope it turns out for the better for them.
So I definitely talked about that. I wanted to touch on the fact that, talking about those rules there, the Face Ripper special character Orc War Boss guy, he actually has the tools in his rules.
He's a fucking beast.
Yeah, he's a beast of the war boss, and if they just got some like saucy kind of mechanics in a formation, I think the Orcs could really be a true contender.
Oh, we should talk about that. Oh my god, that's such a good point. I think we have a few minutes to talk about people may have we didn't talk about it last week about the LVO because we were talking about Haspel's experience, but you may have noticed if you went online and looked at pictures of the LVO, you saw a shitload of Stampas and Orcs. And so me and Rob, let's not take too many minutes on this. Let's hold ourselves to 10 minutes on this, because me and Rob can go back and forth on this subject.
Oh my gosh.
So what had happened was basically the LVO had authorized you to use, and I believe to use the Big Mech Stampa.
The Build-A-Mech Stampa from the old Imperial armor.
Yep, that's what it was.
So what happened there is that you have a Stampa that's essentially 1,000 points with upgrades. And you have a version of him that's like 500 points with upgrades. That is, all intents and purposes, an outdated piece of literature from back in the day. Am I wrong, Rob?
It's basically like taking something from 4th or 5th edition and allowing it to be played in 7th edition. It's completely different and probably, guess what? Really points optimized because it was a different time.
Because GW has basically told us how many points the pay for these things are. And so that makes me mad that it's literally outdated, but I can understand the rules as written element, and I can understand the rules as intended. Orcs basically suck right now. So I can see why giving them this option is fine. Additionally, it's pointed, in my opinion, very fairly. The outdated Stampa is based on the point rubric that a super heavy walker should be. GW has it twisted, unfortunately, and they overpoint them. So it just shows you that if a Stampa was half the points, Orcs would be good. You know what I'm saying? Like that's straight up. And honestly,
or even the little death dread, the Morkanauts or the Gorkanauts. Like
Yeah.
if those, there's so much wasted potential there, in my opinion.
how many times do we have to bring it up that like if dreadnoughts were 50 points instead of 100 points, they'd be playable? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like this is the same argument. And so like what? So me and Rob got to talking about like, well, what if we did use the 500 point stomper? What would we do? We basically came up with a list that used a CAD, an ally, and it used one of the Gosgo formation for the 4-up power field big custom force fields. So
Yep.
what it was done is we took the Ripper, this guy we were talking about, who's a war boss that lets you if your army includes him, then orc war bikes are troops. I love it when it's worded that way because that means my battle forged army, all instances of these bikes can be taken as troops. That means in my ally, in my CAD, everywhere. So we take the Ripper, we take a shitload of minimum orc biker units, 3 dudes, no upgrades. You take like 4 of them plus Gretchen, and then you take the Super Stomper, and you take a Pain Boy. You take all the big mechs with all the upgrades to fix the Stomper you can. So what you're doing here is you're taking a Stomper, you're giving him all the gear he needs. He's got the void shields, everything. You pay 35 points to make him objective secure because Gretchen can go inside him. You attach all the big mechs and everything to him with Grout Oilers so they can repair him multiple times. You take, obviously you have the Ripper, so he makes like, your 4 additional 3-man units, objective secure. Then you go into the ally slot, take like a Pain Boy on a bike and a couple more Orc biker squads. Then you go to that Gosgo formation, that Gosgo, whatever, I can't remember which one it is, but it's the one that lets you take the custom force field that does the 4-up. One of the things you have to take out of there is, I think, Elite or something like that. But wherever it is, we're taking an Orc knob biker unit. Like 5 power claws, 10 dudes all on bike, everything, right?
Which are still good.
Super good, especially when I explain to you how it's going to work. And you take the dude that gives you the 4-up custom force field. You take the guy from the you take another one of the artifacts from the CAD where the guy repairs on a 3-up. So you basically have like 8 repair rolls. More than half of them are re-rolls. You have a 4-up invulnerable in the Stomple. It's objective secure. You've got like 5 or 6 bike units that are Orc biker units that are in reserves that are objective secure. They're Eldar jet bikes, my man. They're like 54 points a unit. They're toughness 5. They have +1 to their Jinx save if they go flat out, and they have a 4-up Jinx save. So like that goes to a 3. So you're talking about like literally you're talking outside of the fact they can't go 50 inches, they can go 24 inches. That's really good MSU. And then you have a Orc biker unit, like total knob bikers. They've got Feel No Pain because of the Big Mech. They have 2 wounds each. They're toughness 5, and I joined the Ripper to them. And the Ripper, everyone forgets this. Now, Fool has Skilled Rider. So he's got +1 Jinx save that stacks with the other +1 Jinx save, which stacks with the fucking smoke cloud roll. So this unit of of knob bikers that comes at you 24 inches on turn 1 has 2 Jinx saves.
That seems pretty good. That's like a Raven Wing status, yo.
Yeah. And then the Stomper comes up right behind him that gets to repair 8 hull points a turn. Like, and then in reserves, you have a million little MSU objective secure bikes. Like, all of a sudden, like, I feel like I could beat people with that list. And I can only play that list because the Stomp is 500 points.
And that actually brings up another point of mine, and I feel like we have 4 minutes left on this topic, but in the video game world, and I'm not an expert, and I'm sure Kenny could talk more to this about, but I just have my personal experience, like how I see new games coming out. And it seems like when a new game comes out, they have like 3 different distinct components to it. They have like a multiplayer component to it. They have a campaign component to it, and then they have some sort of a cooperative component to it. Like, for instance, Star Wars Battlefront, there's literally like 12 different game types in there, and they're all pretty much along one of those lines. And I feel like for a codex to come out and really be effective / popular, Games Workshop should take a page from that book and kind of make it so it follows along with some criteria. And one of the criteria is being that there is a MSU version of that book, and perhaps a elite kind of level version, army build out of that book, and then perhaps like a ally friendly, so to speak, like a cooperative, air quotes, version of that book or of that army, so that you literally gives people 3 different ways to build armies that could appeal to 3 different groups of people. And I feel like the 5th edition Grey Knights book was kind of satisfied all those requirements, because you can make the Billy Badass Paladin squad, you can make the sweet Inquisition, henchman MSU spam, and then you can do like some hybrid lists like Kenny did actually, that these days we're seeing are more ally friendly, with like multiple Dread Knights and just a solid HQ at its core. And those are, that literally might have been the most perfect book for its time, just in sheer business side and also sheer player favorite, popularity side as well.
Yeah, and it also helped that you didn't need a lot of figs to make that army. I'm sorry I cut you off, Horton. Go ahead.
Very good. Well, I was just going to say, I think the most successful codexes are the ones that are the most playable in terms of different builds.
Yes.
If you just look at like the ones that are played the most, or people seem to have the most fun with, and the 5th edition Grey Knights Codex definitely checked that box.
Oh gosh.
And the 5th edition Space Wolves, the old Phil Kelly one. There was like no single way to run that.
That's right. Throughout 5th edition, we played that book 100 different ways. And Rob, you make a good point. You're right. Like if they had a governing council, like some like final checklist people who were like, is there a formation that lets you play this MSU? Is there a formation that lets you play this like tanky? Like if they just had like a straight up rubric that they followed, that would, I think, be a problem solver.
Yep. No, I completely agree with you there. I just wish they checked off those boxes and got a little bit more consistency, I guess, in their offerings there. So one last thing on the Tabletop Market Watch, book 6, the Horus Heresy Retribution book is coming out this week. It's on pre-order right now, but they're going to actually start shipping them out, I think, the 19th, which is coming up Friday here. And that, literally, I feel that is probably one of maybe the best Horus Heresy book they put out, just in terms of it has something from everybody. It kind of checks off all those boxes I was just talking about. There's a cooperative campaign, or the narrative campaign in there. There's standalone missions in there. There's all sorts of different army build types. There's, the Shattered Legions. You can build, Legion ally lists in there. You can take Black Shield armies. You can take, War Master kind of tyrant armies. You can splash in Garo and his Knight Errants, which eventually become the Grey Knights. You can take those guys and splash them into any Loyalist army. And then, of course, for all you other players out there, like, I don't play any of the factions in there. Well, each one of the pre-existing or published legions got rules in there, a new Rites of War, and also the Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and White Scars finally got their rules as well in that book. So it hits on all cylinders. It's a great book. The artwork is phenomenal, like some of the best looking graphics in there and illustrations that has ever come out of
What's the name of
that
book? What's the name of that book again?
It's book 6, Retribution, for the Horus Heresy, the new rules book. 300-page book. I just put up the review of it over on Patreon. I will have it up on the channel here shortly in a couple days. I don't know exactly when. Got a lot of content to get out here over the next couple days.
Not to mention a lot of work. Rob Bear is at the epicenter of our Cat Command Center, where he is constantly having to update buttons and links and URLs.
Levers.
And every time I fuck something up, he's got to come back behind me and fix it. Like last week, I want to apologize to everyone listening to this podcast. I published it in a WAV format, which was the unedited format. It was like just the levelated format. So you couldn't stream it. You had to download it. Then I realized I fucked up. I went there and fixed it, swapped it for the MP3 format that was proper, but it changed the link, so it broke the link on a bunch of situations. So that is not going to happen this week. But anyway, all joking aside, we do need to take a commercial break here real quick.
Dear veterans, quickly make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at dicehead.com have rewarded us all with an extra 6% discount on all dicehead.com merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy. Veterans, have you been by thelongwar.net lately? New spoils are piling up. Sign up at thelongwar.net and claim your code to unlock valuable discounts at your favorite wargaming stores. Our friends at kingshobbiesandgames.com have added to that horde. An additional 5% off their already low prices. Sign up for free. thelongwar.net. Dear veterans, quickly! Make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
And we're back, about to do the most legendary segment of our show, featuring the most shiny and the most eternal person I know, Mike Aspel. What you got for us on Webcast Weekend?
All right. Yeah, we've got actually a pretty big one right now. I'm going to start off with we had a pretty good conversation about Forge World being available in stores during the webcast. Mm-hmm. And if you guys want to hear more about that, check out the webcast because we do not have time to go over what we did in the webcast at the time. But Alan chimed in and he said that and he has the experience and the clout to talk about this, so he is a knowledgeable person. He said that Forge World was actually a nightmare in the stores, and that outside of direct orders, they would get like one of every item, and often items would sit for 6 months or more without selling. So that is valuable input to shape our opinions on that.
And Haas was right. We did have a serious conversation about the pros and cons of Forge World China cast pieces. So you definitely, we're not going to go into that here, but if you want to check it out, you're going to need to go to thelongwar.net. You try it for a week. If you can't afford the $6, just at least hear that conversation because it was toward the end of the episode. And I think it was worth listening to.
I agree.
Yeah, we definitely went out on a huge tangent there.
And then for the questions, we had Gabriel Blut, who asked, can warp spiders use their flicker jump when being targeted by psychic witch fires, both focused and nova?
Horton, lay it down for us, my man.
I believe the answer is yes, and I know that Adepticon has ruled yes on this, meaning they've also specifically ruled that if you were to cast a nova power and warp spiders were to be affected by it, even if they were in combat, they could leap away. Rules is written, so that ruling is out there.
You know, and I kind of agree with that because the psychic shooting counts as a shooting attack. Like the Witchfire say that's a shooting attack. Novas say it's a shooting attack. So technically it's a shooting attack, and I feel like that qualifies. But then again, they are warp spiders.
I do have to agree with you. What I don't agree with is how stupid that rule is. But
yeah,
currently it does exist. It is a rule, and I do have to agree that it probably would work that way. The out of combat one, that's intense.
Yeah, I think that's a bit liberal. Though I see that interpretation. I understand.
I mean, might as well. They already have hit and run anyway. All these things. Might as well just let them flicker out of combat too. Who cares?
Right. That's probably the thought process they had.
Like you're gonna take that formation that makes them pass or fail morale checks, so they're not breaking. They're gonna hit and run because they're initiative 5. Literally doesn't matter. Fine, just flicker out of combat.
Fine, you win. You guys are ridiculous.
All right, following that up, we've got Thomas Burton asked, what would we think the best, what would we think, let me try talking again, what do we think would be the best delivery system for Wulfen? He was thinking of a Stormwolf, a Land Raider Crusader, or a Spartan.
I want Horton had a great idea if it's legal. And walk us through that one, Horton.
Yeah, so one thing that immediately came to mind with them is the Charybdis Assault Claw. I know Chaos has access to that right now. I'm not sure if Loyalists do at the moment. I believe if not, and I believe they're going to have it soon. There's some talk about a new Forge World book for them. But the beauty of that thing is, even though Wulfen are bulky, you could put 10 of them in there and you could drop the Assault Claw down. And since it's an assault vehicle, you could just stay in there. It has a transport capacity. You don't have to disembark like a drop pod. So you can drop down your Charybdis in the enemy deployment zone and just be like, all right, here I am. And I'm inside my 5-hole point tank.
Yeah, that has Jinx
So-
save and it's armor 12. You know, I mean, so yeah, if they get that ability or if they have that ability, either way, we're predicting that they might have this option. Rob's going to fact check us on it. We talked about a lot of things, though. We obviously, if you want to assault with the, if your goal is to get the Wulfen in combat, then all of his ideas are correct. Yes, then absolutely, those are the correct options to get those Wulfen in close combat. But Haspel was dropping some knowledge bombs on me earlier, and this will come up again later in the show when we get into the meats and potatoes of the show. We hit our top 5 formations. But there are so many things the Wulfen do besides actually getting close combats themselves. Give me a couple examples, Haspel.
Yeah, they basically can boost everybody else around them within a certain way around them. There's a chart called like to hunt or to kill, and they give the surrounding units some boosts, and different units are affected differently depending on who they are. Like if they're the Swift Claws or Long Fangs, then they have different stuff. And of course,
Well, they
right
have
now
ranges, like you affect them within a certain range band.
Yeah, and of course, now that we're like talking about it, I just lost the page where all that stuff
Page
was.
page 52.
Okay, because I had it open
Gotcha.
to that.
You actually have the physical book?
Yeah, dude. So they can do stuff like in the hunt, they get all units within a certain range get Hammer of Wrath, or they add 3 inches to their maximum movement distances, or they can get Furious Charge and D3 bonus attacks, and this is the crazy one, they can get a second movement phase.
Yeah, on a 7 plus.
Yeah, so the affected units.
And does that stop you from charging?
No.
Okay, so here's the thing. So that means Thunderwolf Cavalry or whatever could go 24 inches then charge, right?
Yes.
So they do affect. This thing does affect Thunderwolf Cavalry. They are not prohibited. The only things that are prohibited are Fenrisian Wolves and Servitors, and Wulfen themselves.
How about Cyberwolves?
I guess not. I guess they're not. They are affected. They are not on the list.
So basically, this is a force multiplier that you're getting. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have a solid erection over this. This is amazing. You're telling me that I can just ruin people with these distances.
Yeah.
So having said, if you want to put the Wulfen in combat, yeah, take the Land Raider, take the Storm Wolf, put a Sky Shield landing pad, put ready for takeoff, do all those cool little tricks. But we got a trick for you right now. If you're talking about just keeping those Wulfen alive for minimum investment but maximum resiliency, and then putting them where they need to be to maximize your army's ability to benefit from these formation perks, I'm going to say Imperial Bunker with Escape Hatch, my man.
Yep.
Yeah.
55 points plus 25 points. There's armor 14, 4 hull points. Put it literally behind a building. Give it some good cover. Let them not be able to really pick on the Wulfen, and then get out and put them where they need to be. And so everything in your army gets that number 7 and goes.
Now, here's the question. Do you measure it from...
You just get them out of the escape hatch exactly where they need to be.
Well, no, remember there's a distance for them affecting the rest of their army.
Is it beginning? Is it
The
beginning?
beginning of the movement phase.
Beginning of the movement phase?
Yeah,
Right.
so I'm wondering if...
Well, you'd have to measure it from the bunker.
Yeah.
Is my thought.
I was
So-
actually looking for that.
Yeah, there's actually, in the main rulebook, it does outline that if there's anything that you need to measure from a unit and you're inside of a vehicle, you measure from the hull. And if you go to Stronghold Assault, it says that basically for things like that, you treat buildings as vehicles. So essentially, Imperial Bunker is pretty good because it does give you a good footprint. But there's other things you can do. Like, now that means you can bunch people around the bunker. One of my favorite things to do is make the bunker worth 100 points. And buy it 2 barricades.
Yeah, you embark in a building, right?
Yeah, no, literally to me, like, and even like now you're talking like, there's a lot of things you can do, like the bigger the better. I mean, if you wanted to get super competitive, obviously you can do a void shield generator, and I think you can buy that thing. I think you can buy barricades for that thing.
Yeah, 1 or 2. I think they're...
So you can buy like 2 walls and just kind of like catty corner them. So like literally the Wulfen are as obscured as possible. You know what I mean? Like, you can do all sorts of things, like basically the fortification route, I think, is going to be the game plan here.
Yeah, and you can also game this chart too because it's you get +1 to any rolls on the hunt in our kill tables for each unit from a Wulfen murder pack on the battlefield after the first. So, like, if you know how many you have on the table, you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess I've got 3 squads of 5.
Are HQs counted as separate units for that?
Well, they're talking about units of
the only thing you can have in a Wulfen murder pack is 2 to 5 Wulfen units of Wulfen.
Oh, okay.
So if you just take 1 squad of 5, you're only getting +1 to the chart.
So you need to take multiple squads of 5.
Yeah.
Yes. You want to take 5.
Yeah, 5 helps.
Depending on what result you're trying to get.
Yeah, exactly. You can kind of game it. Unless, one of them dies. But yeah, you kind of get the point there. It's a pretty dope little tactic.
No, I mean, at that point, drop pods and rhinos start mattering too. So I mean, like, there's a lot of ways to play it. Let's roll through this webcast recap though, so we can get to the potatoes. What you got
definitely. So the next question is from the Demonicon, and he says he's looking to do a themed Grey Knight and Space Wolf army. Any tips for loadouts on the Grey Knights? And one of the things we were talking about earlier was like Drago with Gate and Wulfen. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, also with Stern. If you take a Nemesis Strike Force, you can take Stern as your HQ, Drago's the Little War, and 1 Strike Squad, giving you 5 Warp Charge points and +1 to your Invulnerable Save second power and Gate of Infinity second power. They're both Warp Charge level 1s, and you could join them to a unit of Wulfen with Storm Shields.
Booyah.
It's going to be hilarious.
Yes. Here I am in your face. And if you want to get crazy and you want to go 3rd rail detachment, take a Blood Angel's Allies, take a Sanguinary Priest with the Angel's Wings. It's my favorite pieces of tech right here. And you take 5 scouts, right? So now you have Feel No Pain on the unit, obviously. A Gate of Infinity, +1 of Vulnerable second power. So you have multiple layers of redundancy. But the Angel's Wings lets you re-roll all scatter dice and the mishap chart. So when you gate, you get to put them here. If you scatter and you get a mishap, you get to reroll the scatter. If you roll the same thing exactly again in mishap anyway, you get to roll the mishap chart and then reroll it. So literally, like, the safest thing ever. Basically, there you go. Like, I would play it that way, and it also kind of answers the previous question of, like, delivery system for Wulfen. This is possible.
Yep. And I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed because of how good this Wulfen book is for, like, demons and stuff. They got a lot of new stuff. So I'm hoping that with part 2 of this campaign, the Grey Knights are going to get some formations and get some love, because they're in the story. Stern's there, and he is interacting with Logan Grimnar and what's going on in the story. So I'm just like, come on, man, like, hook us up with some stuff, and that will make the Grey Knights work better with Space Wolves, because I'm just waiting for that. That'd be fantastic.
Well, a long time ago, there were rumors floating around about a Grey Knight versus Demon campaign book, and the part 2 you're referencing very well could be it. So we'll see. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that.
Yeah, definitely. The next question I've got is from Sal F. in Chicago, and he's asking, with the new Demon and Space Wolf formations, do we think that there is a silent killer among them, like a formation that uses units that are usually ignored?
I think Horton had something on this.
Yeah, so can't think of it off the top of my head. I know one of you guys has the book right in front of you. There's one where you get free upgrades on your tanks, and basically you can take a ton of land speeders. There's a land speeder focused formation.
Yeah, the land speeder one I think is called the Fire Howlers. That's the one that uses Sky Claws, Swift Claws, land speeders.
The Iron Wolves one, I believe, is the one with the free upgrades.
But yeah, the other one, I mean, people do not play with Sky Claws. I think I'm the only one I've ever seen who runs Sky Claws. Swift Claws and a ton of land speeders, and it allows you to re-roll failed charge rolls, which is huge. Let's see, there's a couple other things in that one. It's If you roll a 10 or more when determining the charge distance, all models have the Furious Charge special rule. That's not that great, honestly, because, I mean, how many times are you going to roll that? Probably 1 out of 12.
Yeah, literally.
1 out of 12 assaults. And then the Iron Wolves are the ones with the... what is this? All weapons and war gear options taken by the Iron Wolves vehicles are free. So
I think that in specific relation to like land speeders, if you look at it, you can basically have what would be a 100-point land speeder for 50 points.
Yeah, because you can have 2 to 4 units chosen in any combination from the list. Gray Hunters or land speeders. So
yes, that's
you can take
I'm
a stock
saying.
land speeder, get you a Typhoon, get you a front weapon.
That could be
2 front weapons.
Because land speeders can be squadrons of up to
3,
is it 5?
Oh, is it 5?
It might be now. I think it's
when
3.
maybe
I don't
it's
think they
3.
changed it for Space Wolves though.
Okay, if they didn't change it for Space Wolves, then it is 3. Then still that's a lot of free assault cannons and missile launchers and whatnot. So hopefully we'll see some.
Dude, I'm all
speeders.
about a land speeder formation, like 3 land speeders with assault cannons.
Yeah,
I'm literally all about that. Like, I love that.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it'd be really cool to see people doing that again. Between that and the Dark Angels formations that want you to take land speeders. I feel like Games Workshop wants to sell more land speeders. But it'd also be pretty fun to see.
God, they need to update the land speeder, though. I fucking hate a land speeder. God, so bad.
Well, it's way better than it used to be back in the day. And now,
Okay, obviously it's better than that back in the old days when when Rob Bear was watching Star Wars in the movie theaters.
that never happened.
I like the 30K one a lot better. But I wish that would get 40K rules.
We got more in the webcast recap, Mike Casper?
Yeah, one last question that'll segue us right into the meat and potatoes kind of thing is from Sean Brown, where he says we have to spend some time talking about the new shared powers ability with the 4 demon prince list among that formation.
I will definitely get to that in the next segment for sure.
That's going to come up, and I think there's articles on it. We can talk about it. So let's just kick off the meat and potatoes then right now. This episode is Curse of the Wulfen, top 5 formations. And since we have the final question of the webcast recap, the most legendary segment hosted by Mike Haspel, we have you on a cliffhanger here. We'll just lead off with Rob's favorite. This is no particular order. These are our 5 favorite picks right here. It's going to be 1 from Rob, 1 from me, 1 from Horton, and 2 from Haspel, because Haspel is literally that legit. So Rob, hit us with yours and segue into why this shared rule ability and the pros and cons of it and how you think it's going to be ruled in the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, dude. So the Infernal Tetrad is the one of each Demon Prince formation, and I was super had a Chaos Crush on this thing when I read the rumors on it, a week or so ago. I was like, man, that seems pretty solid. There's some cool fluffy abilities there, and it's also just kind of interesting to how
what does the formation entail though? Like, let's just assume I don't know anything about the names, and I just go on freestyle like.
Word. So it's 4 demon princes, and each demon prince must be upgraded to a demon of a different chaos god. So it's 1 of each god, and standard equipment loadout. Now,
so obviously you're going to max out 4 demon princes with all the gifts and all the artifacts.
Right. So it's going to get
all the
it's going to be expensive.
like 1,400 points in demon princes.
At least, yeah.
And that's nothing new. That's standard demon prince army shit, right? Yep.
There. With the good thing about Khorne is he's really good in assault. The bad thing about Khorne is he's really good in assault. So you have to land him, and that becomes a liability.
And obviously, give me the pros at least. Like, so, what are the buffs? What are the perks as we talked about?
The buffs are the combined might. The Demon Princes of Infernal Tetrad have the following rules, depending on how many of them are on the battlefield at the same time. If you have 4 of them, you get +1 toughness. 3 of them, you get +1 strength. 2 of them, you get reroll failed to hit wounds 1, and 1 model is no benefit.
So if you have all 4, do you get all of those abilities?
It says the bonuses are cumulative, yes.
Yes. So basically, when you have all 4, they're all toughness 7, they're all strength 7, and they all reroll 1s to wound or
to hit. So they have foe preferred enemy. But the game breaker, and unfortunately the source of much much gnashing of lamenting on the internet is the shared power special rule. And this is a special rule, so you can't, they're already a formation. You can't join monstrous creatures to themselves. But if a warlord is chosen from this formation, all of the models in the Infernal Tetrad also have that model's warlord trait. Even if you choose to roll on one of the warlord trait tables in this book, and they have a different demonic alignment to your warlord. So that means that you can use the warlord traits from this book, the Curse of Wulfen, the main rule book, etc. You can roll on
Demon Codex, old Demon Codex, everything.
Yep, everything. And that's where there starts to become some issues. So they took something with good intentions that looked really cool on paper, and you had the ability to not get doubled out by like strength 10 stuff and things like that. And it was kind of fluffy, kind of just a cool thing. To now, when you start looking at some of these warlord traits, like for instance, there's one that makes all of your guys a sorcerer. Add 1 to a warlord's mastery level. If your warlord is not a psyker, he instead has a psyker mastery level 1 special rule and generates powers from the discipline of change. So, hey, did your Khorne guy just magically become a Tzeentch psyker?
Exactly.
I don't think that was intended. But there can be an argument one way or another. Then there's stuff like you get +1 to the invulnerable save.
But even then, any one of them, like let's say, like literally, I mean, like okay, let's take that out. Like, what if you just didn't buy psychic levels for any of your demon princes except Tzeentch? That means I get to roll on the Tzeentch discipline for my Nurgle and my Slaanesh guy too.
Theoretically, yeah.
You know what I mean? That exactly. That's only because traditionally that's the Tzeentch warlord chart. So in this situation, you would have picked your Tzeentch guy, rolled on the Tzeentch chart. So the Tzeentch demon prince is my warlord. I'll roll up on this chart. Whatever warlord trait I get, they all have. Mm-hmm. And so that's where it gets confusing, because now you're giving these weird abilities to people that shouldn't have it.
But not only that, I mean, I wrote an article about it already. If he's,
but it does say shared might. I mean, like
it does.
Maybe that's what they are. They're literally getting along. They're all friends.
And they don't get along very, very often. So I imagine maybe that's an angle on it. Maybe GW is trying to cause chaos on the tabletop. I don't know, but I just know that you could probably argue this one of two ways: that all of this stuff stacks or all this stuff doesn't stack. And if it stacks, if you say everything stacks, like basically, as a community, we're gonna have to come together, review it, decide what works, what doesn't work, and in the meantime, we're gonna just have to interpret it liberally. But I think in the meantime, Rob's gonna have a lot of articles dropping on Spikey Bits covering some of these things. Yeah, most definitely. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's some scoring issues. There's the stuff we talked about with the number 7 Wulfen chart power thing, and I mean. It's some of these rules, they just need to be a little bit more consistent, a little bit more tweaking of the rules before they print this stuff.
GW is nothing but inconsistently consistent.
They are definitely, that is the one thing I think we can all agree on.
Which is cool, and I do agree. I do think the 4 Demon Prince is amazing. David, my brother, friend, everyone knows I talk about all the time. He's out in VA, parked in his truck right now, listening to our podcast, and he's hanging out with Dirty Mike and the boys. He's literally, his favorite thing is this new Demon Prince formation. And so I think the way we're going to organize it is, the 3 of us are chaos for life, and one of us is thug life, no chaos. So. I think we'll do Mike Caspel last, since he's got 2 to talk about. And next, I want to hear from Horton, since Horton, you've been quiet over there. I know you're brewing some Beast Laboratory action with a formation out of the Curse of the Wulfen. What you got?
Well, I've been contemplating what you brought up about the Tetrad and just kind of taking it in. But yeah, so I'm very excited about the demon formations to come out of this book. Every now and then, GW makes a formation that I feel was just for me.
I can agree with that.
When Demon King came out, it was the Gore Pack, and then I started playing a bunch of Fleshhounds, and then it's almost like GW said, that Horton guy really likes Fleshhounds. Let's give him something else. And then they made the Murder Horde. For those of you who don't know, that is a formation for Khorne. It consists of 1 Herald.
Wait, hold on a second. You're telling me the Murder Horde? That's a Khorne formation?
It is. It is a Khorne formation.
The Murder Horde. I don't think I could ever put that one together.
No, it could be tough to make the connection. You never know. But what's cool about this is it gives you some options as well. So it consists of 1 Herald of Khorne and 8 units in any combination of either Bloodletters, Fleshhounds, or Blood Crushers.
Damn, you get all 3.
So that right there makes me super happy because I happen to have lots of all of those things.
Yes, you have more than all those things than anyone I know.
I think I might win the contest in terms of the most of those things. But I get super happy about the idea of taking 8 units of Fleshhounds. That seems super good. But, it doesn't stop there. You get some.
You haven't even gone into the perks yet. You're just saying this is the formation unit selection. This is the profile. This is the statistics of the game. What's the perk?
Yes. So the perks, there are 2 really big ones. One is the Herald. If he takes a Loki, it applies to not just him and his unit, but it applies to all friendly units within 12 inches.
So he has one that's rage, doesn't he?
He can have Rage, Adamantium Will, or Hatred.
Oh, Hatred is clutch.
Yes, you think?
So your whole army has Hatred when they charge.
Whole army has Hatred. That seems good.
Seems good. They get to reroll their mishits on the in close combat first round.
Yes. And then, in addition to that, if any one of the units in this formation are within 6 inches of another unit in this formation, at least one or more, they get +1 attack. So right there, if you're running 8 units of Fleshhounds or Blood Crushers or something that can just stick together,
and and this is units within, not models within.
Correct. It is units within.
So you can easily toe drag it with all those fast Bloodhound Fleshhound units to get them all. Every unit would have extra attack.
Every unit would have extra attack, and they don't have to be within range of all of each other, just another unit from the formation. Unit. So as long as you're impaired.
And then you have your one dude all pimped out on a juggernaut like a beast, giving everyone hatred.
Yes.
So basically, Fleshhounds would all have 4 attacks at weapon skill 5. So they basically have 4 attacks, strength 5, hit on 3s of the reroll.
Yes.
Like your whole army.
Yes.
So that's pretty sick because now you're talking about a perk that adds to the statistics of the game in a very competitive way. And like when you play RPGs, there's like 2 major ways to play RPGs. You either play to win or you play for fun. And when you play for fun, you typically get really into the perks of the RPG that like kind of like just create new things in the game. But like the people who play to win are taking perks that like augment statistics by substantial multipliers. And this absolutely embodies that.
Which is why I'm still playing Skyrim. Figure out which way I play RPGs.
Yeah. I had to stop playing Skyrim because I fucked up that game by getting too competitive with it. But Bonet, my girlfriend, her and my Caspel, they talk on the phone sometimes, but they play Skyrim the same way. Bonet hates it like when I'm playing in the background. She's like, yo, seriously, stop fucking playing this game. Why do you even bother playing? I was like, I don't know. The statistics are ruined.
Because you're crafting like 90 daggers.
Yeah. Oh my God. I go in there and I make 1,000 daggers, enchant them, sell them all back. And all of a sudden I'm like a 100 crafter, 100 blacksmith. I do that literally. I'm like, I got 15 minutes before work. Let me just do that 16 times. And then all of a sudden at the end of the day, I'm like, what did I do in my life? But Horton, that is my style. Have you put any thought into like, first off, how many points is that formation the way you want to take it?
The way I want to take it, it's I think it's 9-15.
And what is that? Like 8 units of 5 Fleshhounds?
So it's 7 units of 5 and 1 unit of 10.
And that's where you're going to put your Herald? You're going to tuck them into there?
Yeah. And obviously you can make that unit bigger, but it's 7 units of 5 Fleshhounds, 1 unit of 10 Fleshhounds, and then it's a totally decked out Herald with...
Oh, yeah.
He's on the Juggernaut. He has a greater gift. He has a lesser gift. And then you get to take access to one of the amazing Khorne relics, which gives... Go ahead.
What are the new Khorne relics do? I was about to ask you that.
So there are a lot of really good Khorne relics. So the one in particular that interests me is you can give it to, I believe, a Herald or a Demon Prince or a Bloodthirster. But what it does is all friendly units of Khorne, or demons of Khorne within 8 inches, just gain an extra attack.
So now you're giving +2 attacks to the whole army.
Yes. So you're looking at your Fleshhounds having 5 attacks.
5 attacks.
At strength
Hit on
5.
3s with a reroll, strength 5.
Yeah, it's so many attacks that it doesn't matter if the enemy's invisible.
No, it literally doesn't. That's amazing. And so you're less than 1,000 points for this. Are you gonna combine this with a gore pack?
You could.
Or are you going for D-thirsters?
I'm torn about how best to use this. I'm still running it through because another great perk about this amazing formation is that it is a core choice in the new Demon Decurion style detachment. So,
oh shit!
I mean, you're talking about a formation that's like bananas good, but it's like this is the equivalent of like your troop tax.
It's
formation.
it's only half of your army.
Oh yeah, it's only half of your army, and you can still you can go straight D-thirsters. I mean, you could just take another one of these. I mean, and just rampage. Lots of good options.
I feel like you're taking 2 of these, aren't you, Horton?
I mean, I think I could do really well with that and have a lot of fun. I have the flesh hounds to do it, so
only you have the flesh hounds to do it.
At some point, I will do 2 of these and like whatever else to just totally min it out. But that would be fun.
Yeah. Dude, that is just so OG, man. I love it because Horton is all corn all day. I've played him in multiple tournaments where he's just said, "Fuck it, I'm playing with." Didn't you play like 2 Land Raiders with Corn Berserkers in them for a while? With the
Yes, back when we just had the Chaos Space Marine Codex and Demons had not yet come out, and Demonkin had not yet come out. I was just trying to.
I played you one time when you had Chaos. You had Chaos Demons with Flesh Hounds and a Bloodthirster, plus Chaos Space Marines were like double Land Raiders.
Yeah, double land. Yeah, it was double Land Raider and like some. I had like some Hell Brutes and I had some. What's it called? Hell Drakes.
I played you one time when you were rocking that, and I remember that you never let the love of chaos discourage you from the game, and you did really well that tournament. I remember you still did well, you still played your games, and that's what we always preach here, man. Is like if you play for the love, you will find a way to win. And at the very least, you'll always have fun. And Horton's always done that with his corn, and so. I'll bring up my favorite formation. I've been the Nurgle since the beginning. Like Nurgle's been my shit. And so the reason I have a fun time with Horton is because David, my brother who I grew up with playing 40k, he was all corn all the time. When that first White Dwarf came out with the World Eaters rules, that was David. We were playing all the time. So I wasn't too interested in this Demon Codex until into the new Demon formations until I downloaded all the updates on my Battle Scribe on my phone. I was getting a high score in my Beats Laboratory, And then I was like, David had mentioned to me. Dave was like, yo, you check out that Rod Swarm? I don't know if it's any good because you got to take 7 units of plague drones or beasts of Nurgle.
Or do you?
I was like, that's so many fucking points. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about like really aggressively pointed flesh hounds that are 16 points a guy. We're talking about plague drones where 5 of them is like 230 points, So I was like, this is just not something I'm interested in. But then I started thinking about things that I'm into. So I'd have to say the Rotswarm is my pick for the top 5. And the reason is because it is basically Chaos Demon Lictor Shame, which is aka Beast and Nurgle Shame. Because you can easily take multiple single model Beast and Nurgle units. That's one of the things Beast and Nurgle can do. And if you don't know what a Beast and Nurgle does, because no one plays them, they're actually amazing. It's 4 wounds, toughness 5, demon or Nurgle, beast. Each guy. Literally, that's like a 4-up cover save turned to a 2-up cover save because of Shroud. T5 with an invulnerable save that can deep strike because you're a demon. Literally, 5 times harder to kill than a Dreadnought. And it's only 52 points, and he can deep strike. He's literally a Lictor, but way harder to kill. And way faster. And if you assault something within 12 inches of them, and you're like, he can assault you the same turn. Like, they have this weird rule. So I'm thinking about taking the Rotswarm, obviously because that's good. MSU the shit out of that. Like Rob was saying, every codex should have that ability. So I got my Lictor Shame built in right there. I'm obviously going to take 2 units of Plague Drones with Heralds attached to them to make my little super little mini Death Stars. But my perk to my army is kind of similar to Horton's. And that is that my Heralds can basically pick a unit in my formation and say that unit right there, those motherfuckers right there. They get +3 attacks. Each guy has +3 attacks. So I don't get to have +2 attacks from my whole army, but I get to say that unit right there, they got 7, basically a unit of Plague Drones. They're going to have 7 attacks each on the charge. and they also get to reroll the charge distance. So like that's huge, especially when I buy everyone rot probiosis, so everyone has 3 up poison. So like literally coming in, with 7 attacks each, poison 3. And I'm obviously going to take the Nurgle artifact, just like Horton's taking the Corn artifact, but mine is like free and feeble, where the enemy within 6 inches is going to have -1 toughness. So now you're talking about wounding on 3s or rerolls, 7 attacks a guy. So like whereas Horton is like we all get to reroll the hits and we're strength 5. My dudes are like we have 7 attacks instead of 5. We don't reroll the hits, but we always win on the 3 regardless of toughness, and we get to reroll that as long as you were a toughness 4 model that we do jack down to toughness 3. So like we have a lot of offense too, but also more survivability and more MSU or similar MSU capabilities. Very similar armies, and obviously, I'm thinking that Horton has inspired me that there's no way I'm not going to play this army and not play with a Kaitan because I have to channel Horton into my army.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like basically that's my pick is Rod Swarm paired with another demon CAD, get a Kaitan in there, get some Nurglings. I got the super secret tech I won't go too deep into, but I'm gonna run some Nurgle Heralds on Palanquins with greater gifts. And they're gonna be in a bunker with escape hatch, and they're gonna jump out of the escape hatch in the middle of the table and link up to the plague drone squads as the Kaitan runs across the table with a Grimoire. So like that's my idea. I feel like I could win some games with this.
You're gonna have a ton of fun with it. I know that.
Oh yeah, it sounds super fluffy too.
Yeah, because like literally, it's just all Corn and Demon. They work together, dog. It's like literally they both bring death. They're both death bringers. Like every time Nurgle kills somebody, Corn gets stronger, and every time Corn kills somebody, Nurgle gets stronger. Literally best friends forever.
BFF and terror.
Yeah, anyway, I didn't mean to talk you guys' ears off. I was just really excited about that. I'm already pricing models out, alternate model companies and stuff. But Haspel, being the voice of reason in all this chaos,
Okay.
Suffer Not the Heretic, what you got for us?
All right. So obviously, in a book called Curse of the Wulfen, the Wulfen formation is gonna be one of the favorites, and that is the Wulfen Murder Pack that we were talking about before. Earlier in the show with the boosting, of other people. It's basically 2 to 5 units of Wulfen, and they have a thing called Infectious Ferocity where they add 1 to the rolls on the hunt and the kill tables that affect people, and it gives you an extra result of a 7, and that's where they get to make people get to make an extra free movement roll, or if they're already in close combat, the affected units add 1 to their attack's characteristics. And that's my first favorite one. Now my second favorite one I feel is just fantastic. It's called the Blackmanes, and obviously it's shaped around Ragnar Blackmane, so you have to take, Ragnar obviously, but you can actually sub him out for a Wolfguard battle leader. But you're gonna want to take Ragnar. Trust me on this. And you can take Thunderwolf.
I trust you, bro.
Yeah, you can take Thunderwolf Cav. You can take, but you do have to take 3 to 5 units of Blood Claws, Sky Claws, or Swift Claws, and those are some of those lesser units. People prefer Grey Hunters to Blood Claws, but you also have to take 4 units of Grey Hunters.
I love Blood Claws, Mike. I think Blood Claws they're only 60 points for 5 dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have rage and they're in power armor. They're only 5 points more than scouts. I love Blood Claws.
So we're gonna drop this like infomercial style. So it's like, okay, so how much would you pay if you could take dedicated transport of a drop pod, okay, not pay for it, and drop them all on turn 1?
Okay, you mean if I had to just pay for that ability before my 1850 list was factored in?
That's right.
So basically you're telling me I have access to the whole codex and like all those list units you just outlined?
Yeah.
I would easily pay, let me think about it. Realistically, I'd pay roughly 150 to almost 175 points.
All right. Well, yeah, and you're going to get that for free. We're going to throw that in for free. That you get you take this Blackmanes formation and you get drop pods as dedicated transports at no extra cost. You do have to pay for any upgrades. Shipping's not free. So you got to pay for shipping. But you get all the drop pods arrive from Deep Strike Reserve at the start of controlling players' turns, not half, and they don't count towards the number of models that arrive as part of drop pod assault. But wait, there's more. So while Ragnar Blackmane is still alive, all units of Blood Claws, Sky Claws, and Swift Claws reroll all failed to hit rolls in close combat.
Period. Oh, shit.
But wait, there's more. So
no way.
They also get Blackmane's units that disembark from a drop pod have Fearless and Feel No Pain special rules that until the start of their next turn.
Oh my God. So you mean you can drop in basically 6 units of Blood Claws and drop pods on turn 1? They all have Feel No Pain. They all have counterattack. And when you charge them, they all have counterattack and they get to reroll their miss hits?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And the beauty of this is that this is one of those core choices for the Decurion type detachment, the Sons of Russ detachment. The Wolfclaw Strike Force is what it's called. One of the core is a legendary Great Pack, which is the Blackmanes. So that is actually my favorite formation out of the whole book.
That's a serious formation.
I love it.
That's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm feeling like my cat's a little underwhelming all of a sudden.
And that was actually what I was talking about when I said, oh yeah, I'm going to paint all this stuff by Adepticon. And they were like, oh really? And I was like, yeah, it's a couple months away. And then they were like, it's next month, dude. And I was like, oh.
Oh, dang.
Nope.
Not going to make it.
Not gonna make it. That is such a good formation. Oh my God, that makes me reevaluate everything. Can you take, so the formation, it's free drop pods is what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Free drop pods, yep.
They come in turn 1.
Yep.
But you have to take Blood Claws, Swift Claws, or what else?
Or Sky Claws.
There's Sky Claws.
So you're not going to take the Sky Claws because they're right in the drop pods.
Obviously.
And the same with the Swift Claws.
So basically you're taking a shitload of Blood Claws.
Yep.
Ragnar. Like, have you done the points on that? Like, basically, like, what's the points on 60 Blood Claws? Like, how many points is a Blood Claw?
I have not done the points on that.
They're 12.
They're 12 points each. So, I mean, standard 12 times 60 is 720 points with free drop pods. And how much is Ragnar? 110 points or 130 or 180 points or something? 170. I want to say it's 170.
Yeah.
So you're at 890 points for 60 Blood Claws that come down in drop pods. I guess you got to take one out for Ragnar to ride in. So you have 59 Blood Claws coming down in drop pods on turn 1 with Feel No Pain, always reroll most hits, and all the other rules. You're less than 900 points.
Right.
Literally less than, and also you don't have the stupid tax of having to double your drop pods to come down, and they're free.
Right.
Holy shit! Like this is making me feel a little like when Horton was like, "Yo, that whole thing I just told you is only 900 points." I was like, "Horton, this whole thing is this less than that."
Yeah. Well, I'm double checking points costs here, and you do have to still take Grey Hunters and some Land Raiders, but I feel like you're going to take that stuff anyway.
Wait. Like is this just a standalone formation, or is this only available in the Decurion?
No. It is a standalone formation called
So
the
like literally, so what I'm saying is like be done. Like we're done. This formation exists. Now you can just take your Grey Knights or some shit, dude. Play anything else you want. You don't have to play anything else. Literally, you can play any other army you want, knowing that you have 60 Blood Claws dropping in your enemy's face on turn 1, and it's for less. And then you still have 1,000 points of your army still to
Well,
spend.
no, what I mean is part of that formation, you still have to take some Grey Hunters or Land Speeders as part of that formation.
So I mean, but the Grey Hunters can have free drop pods too, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So like you just take the minimum there, you swap that out. We're barely going up in points. Take a couple of Land Speeder. You have to take at least one Land Speeder.
No. It's either Grey Hunters or Land Speeders.
Oh, just take the Grey Hunters. And that great. So Ragnar rolled the Grey Hunters, and they'll have Meltas and stuff.
Yep.
What else do you have to take?
1 unit of Wolfguard Terminators, or Thunderwolf Cav. So the way I was looking at it was wave 1 comes down in the drop pods, right?
You have to take. So wait, you have to take Terminators.
Or Wolfguard or Thunderwolf Cav. Well, Wolfguard can ride and drop pods.
Wolfguard are clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, you're completely blowing my mind. So now all of a sudden, like, so what's the minimum amount of blood claws you have to take?
3 units.
So basically, what we're doing here now is we're taking like 4 units of blood claws, a unit of Grey Hunters, because you have to take one of those, right? And then we're gonna take. How many? What's the maximum amount of Wolfguard you can take?
You just have to take 1, but I think you can take 3.
So literally now you're going to take like 3 units of Wolfguard with all combi plasmas and combi meltas.
Yep.
So you're literally just like, yo, literally like, here it is. Suck it.
This is the ultimate drop pod army.
Yes, this is the ultimate drop pod army. They all get feel no pain. They all have counterattack. They all get to reroll miss hits in close combat. And you have 1 billion plasma and 1 billion melting gun shots, and it all happens on turn 1.
And basically, the only thing they don't get is charging you.
Right.
Yeah, but they have every defensive ability to mitigate that. Like on the turn they come in, they feel no pain, and they always have counterattack, and they get to reroll hits. Like literally, they're mad defensive.
Well, remember too, don't you get that banner of +1 attack? So if they charge into you,
I don't even know if that's a thing. But let me put it this way: so 6 drop pods is 210 points. To be able to drop 6 drop pods in turn 1, though,
it's probably worth.
You need another 6, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 420 points in drop pods to do this that you don't have to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
This is obviously the best formation of the ones we've talked about tonight.
It is fantastic. It has me very excited.
Because it has everything. And it has a perk that breaks the game, which is for units. But it's a game-breaking perk. That changes the parameters of how you make an army. Additionally, it has a shitload of stat-building perks that change that part of the game. Like, we have Feel No Pain, reroll miss hits. Like, literally has everything, best of both worlds. I can't imagine anything me and Horton and Rob just talked about being better than this.
No, not really.
It's hard to argue with what we've just talked about.
This is so brutal. And you're still not even like, literally, you probably have like enough points to do, like, you could do like a Night Titan still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can like when you're done.
Or a Wulfen murder pack in a drop pod. Or running up behind him or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or you can take that new formation where the Thunderwolves can actually run and charge.
Exactly.
You can go, but think about the power of like, hold on a second. So if we literally have to break this down. We're gonna go over, guys. It just has to happen.
I think we're already over. So
we are over. This is gonna be a long one. So I want to break it down for our people at home. So what we're saying here is like you have to have one. We can have up to 1 to 3 Wolfguard, and we have to have 1 Grey Hunters unit, right?
Yeah.
No, it's I'll read it again real quick. It's,
please.
Ragnar, Blackmane, or a Wolfguard battle leader. 1 unit of Wolfguard Terminators, or Thunderwolf Cavalry. 3 to 5 units chosen in the combination from the following list of Blood Claws, Sky Claws, or Swift Claws. You can bring Lucas the Trickster if you want to.
Okay.
And speed.
So how many points?
What
Wolfguard, are they 18 points and 10-point combi weapons now? What's their deal now?
I gotta grab my Space Wolf Codex. So
I believe that's right, Kenny, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, I think they went up in points big time. Like, so like basically you can take 2 units of those guys for almost no points. So basically take 2 units of 8 Wolfguard with combi weapons. Your choice. Like maybe do 1 all melt and 1 all plasma, right? Then you could take 3 units of 10 Bloodclaw. Right? So now we're basically, and then we take Ragnar. So I think that's minimum requirements right there. And that is 5 drop pods.
Yep.
And that's the minimum requirements right there. We're not even 1,000 points. We have 5 drop pods that come down turn 1 with Ragnar. We have basically 8 combi melter shots and 16 combi plasma shots. Now you can literally go crazy here because we have 1,850 points left. More than
Well,
1,850.
you still have to take a unit of scouts and 1 unit of long fangs minimum.
Okay, we have to take so long fangs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they literally can be one model, or pack leader and one guy.
I don't think so anymore. No, I'm not sure. I'm opening up my. I'm opening up my thing, but it's being notoriously slow because, of course, we're on the air. So why would why would it run correctly?
Why would it run correctly? Long fangs don't suck, but I'm hoping they're still gameable because back in the day they used to be like between 1 and 4 heavy weapon dudes and 1 mandatory pack leader. So you used to be able to go crazy and just be like guy with heavy bolter.
Yeah, you can do 1 long fang.
So 1 long fang plus a pack leader.
Plus the 1 long fang ancient, yeah. 30 points.
So how many? 30 points total. Yes. So, okay.
But here's the beauty of this, right? Is that long fangs can also take a drop pod.
Yep. For free. So obviously I'm taking a free drop pod. Now with scouts, how many points is 5 scouts?
Let me look here. Yeah, don't wait for me. I'm going fast, but my iPad.
I want to say
suddenly.
Let's go. I'm just going to guesstimate at 55 points.
They're a bit more because they have a special outflank.
You can definitely take all this and 2 Night Titans I think.
Yeah, there's 70 points for the unit.
You can even get that sweet, the sweet Space Wolf upgrades for that Night Titan that guy Shane Blomberg did.
Yeah.
Make that sweet looking one.
Oh my God, so true. How many points is the cheapest Night Titan?
325 for the close combat one.
Yeah.
325?
Mm-hmm.
The Crusader, I think
so.
Yeah, you could take 2 of him and have points to spare. Or you could probably take... How many points is the guy with the super Gatling gun?
The
Much
Warden?
more.
Yeah.
He's like 400 or something.
No, he's not. He's like 380 or some shit. Or 3. He's in the 3s still, right?
After you give him like carapace weapons and stuff,
No weapons. What is he just base? We're not operating on bonuses here. We already took all our free shit. Rob, what is he?
It's gonna take me a second.
I think he's 3. He can't be more than 370, right?
No, he's more than 370 because the Knight Errant is 370. And then the Knight Paladin's 375. I think the Knight Warden, he's 385 or something because he's around 400 points.
If he's 385, we can take 2 of those motherfuckers.
Oh my God.
if he's 385, we can take literally all that shit we just said plus 2 of these fools. So turn 1, all this shit just appears and these 2 fuckers run across the battlefield.
The Night Warden is base 375.
Oh my God. Called that shit. Okay, so there it is. We broke it down here in the air. We don't always do this. We're sorry for running off on a tangent here, but there it is. This formation is ludicrous. Ludicrous. Oh my God, Horton, what would you do against that with our puny demon armies?
You'd have to, since you know they're going to come down to you. Well, you want to go first. If you don't go first, it can be bad.
You don't. And you can't scout. You literally can't scout because you need to assault them on turn 1. So your entire army doesn't get to do the thing it's designed to do. So like they can keep you on your side of the table way longer than you want to be too.
Countercharge. Well, no. If it's the Decurion, then they're going to countercharge you, and when you charge them, when everybody's just going to fight, you're only going to get to turn 2. But it's an awesome build. Like I love how I think that of all the things we just talked about, that is a true meta shaker, and we're going to really see this kind of change the game a little bit if people play it.
Oh my God! So I agree. But anyway, we definitely went off. I think we covered a lot of cool things there.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to all our
Lots of
people
good
that we went.
content.
We're just so excited and so passionate about this because we have four completely different opinions of the situation. That was super fun to do, and I'm really happy about that. All the shout outs and everything. I do want to mention, I just want to say something for Juice real quick before we end the show. Juice is sorry he couldn't be here tonight. He wants to thank everybody for all the kind words, following up on Facebooks and hit him up in emails. He's out with his mom tonight. They're having a couple of drinks, thinking about their dad, but he's also thinking about you guys. He just wanted to say thank you. It's getting better every day.
Yep, no doubt. So thank you everybody again, and we'll head on out of here, but real quick, gotta pay the bills. As make sure you head on over to longwar.net and become a veteran of the Long War today.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos,